Good morning, rejects! This is Greg Alba here.
And this is John over here.
Blumhouse has a new film coming out. John is a social media manager for Blumhouse, so what better person to have in this video with me than him? I know. Jordan Peele wrote and directed this film. It's a horror movie called Get Out. That's all I know thus far. Yeah. I know you saw a whole interview, recorded a live stream of...
I was there, man. I shook the man's hand.
That's a big deal. So let's watch this. See if his sketch comedy skills come in handy.
That looks insane.
That looks awesome.
Yeah, that looks awesome.
So
Holy
cool.
Shit. And not just because of the connection.
No, I don't give a shit about that. That looks so cool.
I held off on this trailer, and man, I don't even know what's going on, but I'm looking so forward to this. This is probably the film I'm most excited about now coming up.
I love how Jordan Peele is intentionally capitalizing off of the whole black man in a horror movie.
Well, an interracial couple and
Normally in a horror movie, nowadays either black man dies first or black man makes a comment about how black guy always dies first or something. This time they're really making that a thing. Like the fact that he's black, they're really making it a thing, and they're toying with the fear of racism and all that in a much more extreme way. It's like the ultimate psychological horror film. You got the terrifying hypnosis aspect in there. You got just the interaction of a different kind of society of people who probably don't like black people. You know, who's the main guy? Who's this actor?
I don't know his name.
Well, that's what IMDb is for.
I recognize him.
Stanfield.
Yeah, I recognize him from an episode of Black Mirror. I think he's on the second episode, and he's really great in that. He's really terrific. I'm happy to see him get a starring role in this. I know the female lead is from Girls. Yeah,
she's in Girls. She has a very challenging role because I go back and forth because she's beautiful to look at, but at times I really don't like her character. But at the end of the day, her performance is still really good. She's a great actress, and it's cool to see her in a film like this. Bradley Whitford, though, I didn't even recognize him at first. Right. At first I heard his voice, and then I was like, that voice sounds very familiar. Then we got a little closer, I was like, is that Bradley Whitford? Yeah, they have a great cast here. From watching a lot of sketches from Key and Peele, I bet this will be a horror comedy.
I don't know. Well, I'm sure it'll have humor for sure.
I bet the trailer is much more serious than the film itself. I don't think it's going to be flat out comedy.
This movie looks like it gets pretty horrific.
Oh, totally.
I think there'll be humor.
I think there's going to be comedy and there's going to be terrifying shit as well, though. I don't think it's going to be a spoof of horror films.
I feel like there's going to be more horror than comedy, but I wouldn't be surprised.
I think in some ways it is a comedy. I mean, this is a good debate to have, I guess. Instead of hitting the deer, a deer gets thrown at their car. You know, he's not even driving, but the officer's saying, let me see your license and stuff. I was finding myself laughing at times during this trailer.
I didn't think those were comedy notes. That plays on a lot of relevant paranoia and stuff like that. Relevant things that might happen on a desert country road.
Perhaps, but there's also this strong level of surrealism to it. That I'm really enjoying, because clearly the main character is seeing that this is strange and weird, even though he's kind of in denial of it at first. He is seeing it, so seeing it through the lens of his perspective, I bet there's going to be humor infused for sure.
It looks like it's going to get, like you said, surreal and strange and trippy and things like that, because this trailer is nuts. Especially in the second half when all that crazy stuff starts happening. I don't know how all these things figure in and what even some of them are.
And I have no idea how this is going to play out. I can't tell you how act 2 and 3 are going to go. All I know is that it's probably going to be some type of build-up, whatever. Knowing from just seeing his work with Key and Peele that Jordan Peele will probably find ways to make us think we know where this is going, but then flip it. And I already felt that in the trailer, with the guy, that one black dude running towards him, and then he just immediately darts to the right. You constantly think maybe this is what's going to happen, but then it doesn't happen.
It's exciting to see him making an actual film. He wrote and directed this, and you watch Key and Peele sketches, and you get the sense that these guys love movies. They love know movies,
and they incorporate horror elements into their work often.
They do, and even there's it's sketch comedy, but it's sketch comedy of the newer variety that incorporates humor that's based on the style and how it's captured and how it's cut.
Yeah, I mean, I guess instead of saying comedy, one thing I really love from this trailer is that there's so much personality to it. There's life to it. And, nowadays I see so many fucking horror trailers that are just let's try to be so serious and
Yeah.
scary, and there's a life here that adds to the fear at the same time.
Yeah.
It's not just, okay, sometimes it's fun, sometimes it's scary. It's like a big blend of it all.
This trailer just communicates that something very off is going to happen, and it's just going to get more and more off. I'm really psyched that this gets to be his sort of debut this way, because this, at least, like, I don't want to see anything after this trailer until the movie comes out, because I'm hooked right here. It looks like there's a lot of striking, strong stuff in this movie.
A lot of great visual imagery, too. Like,
Yeah.
the hypnosis stuff looks like it's going to be fucking awesome.
I'm glad that we're getting a horror movie with what seems like a legit, black perspective, Like,
Yeah.
That's a
Yeah.
cool thing.
It's about time we actually got one, yeah.
Yeah, because, like, especially with the shows and stuff that are coming up more on TV, and as diversity sort of seeps its way in, like, it's nice to see movies finally catching up to that. It seems like cultural movies get relegated to only those cultures. It's like, if you see a movie with a predominantly black cast, it's only pitched to the, the black community, and so this seems like it's swinging wide, but it's still, very much has its own identity, and I'm happy about that, especially now that we've got more diverse TV shows and stuff.
Absolutely.
You've got, like, Atlanta and the Get Down, you got all sorts of things coming along, like, this I'm really psyched about for that reason, too. It looks like a new perspective to bring to this kind of horror movie.
Jordan Peele, man, you're gonna be much bigger than that show. Like, that show's already, like, really loved and really regarded. I know it's over now. With the success of Keanu being critically loved and an audience is really loving it, too, and I know he co-wrote it, it's co-starred in it. This time, it's like he's not in front of the camera. I think he was aware that if he was in front of the camera, it might distract a little bit. Just for now. I feel like just now, it would be that way. Maybe down the road, he could write and direct a movie that he could also star or co-star in.
Well, you never know if he might have a cameo in this. But
yeah.
It would make more sense for him to show up in a comedy that he's writing, directing than a horror movie. And I think that's
weird as fuck, too, and I love that. I just love how weird it looks.
And that was the cool thing. I mean, like, the folks I work with, they had him on their podcast, which is called Shockwaves. It's a good interview, and that's sort of what we learned through that. It's like, dude's mad into horror. And I always love when people are allowed to, in an artistic environment, like, show their other interests. It's like, oh yeah, you do comedy, but also you're really into this other thing, and here's what that looks like when it comes from you,
I really want to see Bradley Whitford's work in this.
Yeah,
because I think Bradley Whitford is fantastic with adding humor and personality into a dramatic role. And this is exactly what I would want from Bradley Whitford in a role.
Like, oh yeah, totally.
Because he's already creepy but likable. Already in the trailer, I'm like creepy and likable at the same time.
Catherine Keener and Bradley Whitford seem like a great combination together to be her parents, because they both have they both have a genuine sort of specific
trust. Yeah, there's like a trust and a love, a sincerity to them.
Yeah.
But they're also great actors. So
they're always compelling. A lot of roles for black actors too in this movie too, which is just nice to see. It seems like they're going to actually use horror as a method of confronting some actual issues, which is part of the magic of genre films. Like, that's part of the service that genre movies, sci-fi and horror can provide, is we can explore fears and things like that through the allegory of a creepy tale. So I really hope it delivers on all that stuff.
That was a fantastic trailer. Can't wait to watch that movie.
Give
February.
it to my face.
Can't come any sooner.
Put it in my eyeballs.
Put it in my eyeballs. Put it in my mouth. Put it in my behind. If you're new to the channel, you can subscribe to The Real Rejects. Become a reject today.
Do it.
John, social media manager of two things, the Facebook sites of Real Rejects and Blumhouse. And I want to give a shout out to the very first comment. Several people requested this, but the first person who requested, that I saw request this, was Kill'em Da Pro.
Kill'em Da Pro!
That's a perfect name for this video. Kill'em Da Pro. Oh, like Willem Dafoe.
Not bad.
I wouldn't be surprised if Willem Dafoe's real name was Kill'em Da Pro. He's one of the creepiest motherfuckers I've ever seen.
Kill'em Da Pro.
If we found out that Willem Dafoe was secretly a serial killer, and everyone was shocked, I'd be the only one like, what? Why are y'all shocked?
Serial killer with like a rap.
Have you seen him? Have you just seen him smile?
I would love to be killed by Willem Dafoe. If I had to be...
I wouldn't. He'd probably do weird things to my body afterwards. Sexual things.
Willem Dafoe, though. Like, it's...
What are you talking about? He's disgusting.
Ryan
Gosling killed me. I'd let him do anything. I'd do that whole Shia LaBeouf thing, just
sit
sit in a room, let him... Yeah,